Welcome back to another live stream here on Metal Men's Chronicles. I pretty much decided to do another live stream right here because I felt like the stream we did last night was pretty bad. It was not a good stream, so I'm making up for it tonight. That stream just went all over the place. You know, there was no flow to it. It was just a bad stream. So pretty much what I did was I thought of an idea for a live stream at work tonight. This has been, it's been debated for years. Who invented death metal? Who invented death metal? Yes. Now the two obvious bands are, was it Death or was it Possessed? It's been debated, it's been discussed. People have their opinions on who created death metal. But first and foremost, we got to look to the roots of death metal. Now, Jeff Becerra definitely termed the name death metal. What's going on, Xavier? Actually, you want to join the stream? This is definitely up your alley if you want to join. We got Jess joshing here. But yeah, it's something, that's been debated for years. Who created death metal? Where did death metal originate from? I do think, Jeff Becerra definitely came up with the term death metal, obviously, way back in 1983. So, I'm going to let Xavier in right now because he's definitely good when it comes to death metal. So hold on 1 minute. I agree. But we're going to get into that here in a minute. So, all right. All right, we got Thralls of Metal here also. Now, the thing I noticed too when it comes to death metal, I think there's bands. What am I trying to say? There's definitely bands that are, I would consider kind of proto death metal, which I'm going to get into here in a minute. Just waiting for Xavier. All right, we got Necrotic Nick from Thralls of Metal in the house. All right, I'm just waiting to see if Xavier joins. All right, we got Zach Blabbeth here. Also, like around that time too, there was a bunch of extreme bands coming out too that were definitely pushing the boundaries of thrash metal. Like early on, back in the mid '80s, when bands like Metallica, Megadeth, even bands like Halloween and Hellhammer, Running Wild, they were actually called death metal bands, believe it or not, when they first came out. Yeah. In fact, There's a compilation. There's a compilation disc that was put out around '84 called the Death Metal Compilation. It was put out by Noise Records, and well, on that release, you had Dark Adventure, you had Running Wild, you had Halloween, and I want to say you had Gravedigger on it, maybe, and Hellhammer. You had Hellhammer on it, and early on they were called death metal bands, which by today's standards, they're definitely not death metal bands. You know what I mean? But it's pretty interesting, you know. Then you had bands too, like Hollow's Eve, that were playing pretty extreme for the time. Of course, you had Slayer, obviously. Even Slayer was called a death metal band when they were first coming up. You know, you had Celtic Frost, obviously, too. Let's see, you had Deceased, Necropegia. I mean, there was some pretty extreme bands coming up, you know, that were pushing the boundaries of thrash, but it wasn't quite death metal. Now, definitely Onslaught too. Onslaught, especially on their first album, definitely Powers from Hell, and even on the fourth, they were playing pretty extreme. I definitely agree with that. I think Hell Awaits by Slayer had a huge influence on death metal. I really do. More so than Rain and Blood, to be honest. Because Hell Awaits kind of has, you know, it's got the doomy riffs. I mean, it's also got the speed, obviously, and there's something about, you know, the production of Hell Awaits that is very necro sounding, you know, for the time. Plus, you had, you know, Sarcophago from Brazil. You had early Sepultura, or Sepultura on, Bestial Devastation and Morbid Visions sounded way different than what they would sound on, you know, Beneath the Remains and Arise. So they were kind of pushing the boundaries of, you know, thrash too early on. Even though a lot of their earlier stuff is definitely more influenced by Celtic Frost. You know, and you know, you got Creator too. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. At Dawn They Sleep is definitely a proto death metal track. I definitely agree. Oh man. Don't mind me, it's my Friday. I'm off for the next 2 days, so I'm having a few beers. You know, that's what us metalheads do, man. We have beer and we blast fucking metal. That's all I'm pretty much doing right now. And you had other bands too pushing the boundaries too. Like early on, I'd say even Sodom, especially on I would say on Obsessed by Cruelty by Sodom is really pushing the boundaries of thrash into a more extreme type of direction, you know. But I don't know. What other bands would have pushed the boundaries of thrash at that time period? Dark Angel, like on Darkness Descends. That's a pretty extreme album for its time. One of the fastest albums of '86. All right, I'll send you a link. I got you on Facebook now, so I'd definitely like to hear your input. Okay, never mind. I kind of looked up here. All right.
What's up, man?
What's on, brother?
Oh,
Welcome to the
yeah,
stream.
so you're doing something live, and this is definitely a subject I love talking about because I'm a death metal obsessed nut. So,
Right, right. Yeah, I was just thinking of it at work today. I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about who created death metal, or the origins of death metal. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
you
And I was
definitely
like, and
got
I'd like
like,
to hear your input.
you got the big ones right away. I mean, like Possessed, I'd say like kind of created like maybe like more the image and definitely the term. But I mean, I've always they're kind of like feet in both worlds there because there's definitely still a thrash band. They still have all those Bay Area elements, but there was definitely something different about them. Like they were just way more aggressive. So I mean, it
Right.
definitely has that death metal feel. But
Yeah, much good.
death, of course. I mean, God, I honestly like Scream Bloody Gore is definitely like still very thrashy, but once you get down to like Leprosy, I think that's where the formula hit. Like
Yeah,
this,
that seems more like a death metal album
yeah. Like the
compared to
production
Scream
was
Bloody Gore.
different, it's a bit heavier, and lots of groove. The riffs were different. They were less thrashy, and they had a distinctly different feel, like the death metal feel. But yeah, Sepultura, that's got to be in there too. Bestial
Definitely.
Devastation, Four Tales.
Yeah.
I mean, the guitars weren't even
Schizophrenia.
huge. Yeah, Schizophrenia has a lot of cool death metal moments on there. One of my favorite songs is the instrumental Inquisition Symphony.
That's
And
an excellent track. Yep.
dude, that has so many awesome dynamics on it. And I mean, that's the first one with Andreas, and Andreas was just whooping ass on that.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, Onslaught. Oh God, like I don't know. A lot of the German ones, like Sodom, Creator, and Destruction, that seems to get more lumped in with like black metal in terms of like being really influential with that.
A
But
little bit, yeah.
you'd almost say like you're almost looking for like the first extreme metal bands, like the bands that pushed it, like Celtic Frost definitely pushed it along with Hellhammer. But that's
Right.
almost like, is it black metal? Is it death metal? I don't know. I would say it's almost just extreme metal. Like it had a different feel to it. This wasn't made for mass appeal, even more so than thrash metal.
Right,
And
exactly.
I mean, I want to say Hellhammer and oh god, Celtic Frost were huge in terms of like a big influence for Obituary.
Oh, big time. You can definitely tell in the ripping.
Yeah.
All right, we got Xavier with us.
Hello.
What's up,
Welcome
man?
to the stream.
Not much.
Yep. He plays in a death metal band too,
Sadistic Oppressor.
called Sadistic Oppressor.
It's a good name.
So
That's
yeah,
a good name. That sounds metal as fuck.
hell yeah. Right on.
Let's put it this way: if you're a fan of early Morbid Angel and French death metal like Massacre and fucking Loud Blast, I would say.
Dude, Lab Blast rules.
Yeah, I mean like the fucking early Loud Blast shit.
I just got the reissues not too long ago of Disincarnate and To the Threshold. I still need the first two. Or wait, no, not the first two. The next one after Disincarnate, and then the first one, which I think is a little bit more on the thrash metal side.
That's a Death Thrash record.
Dude, Death Thrash rules. Actually, I was literally
Heck yeah.
just jamming Steel Bearing Hand, which
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
this whoops so much ass.
Right.
And yeah, it has. It's interesting, like the subject matter, because the first thing I thought of was like, man, this has a little bit of that early Possessed feel, and yeah, it's one of those kind of sounds that's on the cusp. It's a little bit in the thrash world, a little bit in the death metal world, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. I mean, like the thrash metal was definitely the catalyst here, mostly. I think.
Yeah.
Like you go to like the Swedish scene, it was the D beat and all the stuff like Discharge, and every other
Yeah.
band that wanted to throw dis in front of their name.
Right. which this charge was pretty damn heavy for the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they
some
definitely had some
gritty
hard riffs.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I think they're still going. Are they still going? Just occasionally
I think they
touring?
are. I thought they put an album out a few years ago.
I still need to get some Discharge. I mean, I
Yeah.
I got too many albums. No, I don't. Never mind. Fuck that. I got just enough. But yeah, I don't know. Like the origins. I mean, definitely for here. I mean, thrash was the big catalyst. Like almost all of like the Tampa bands definitely had their roots in thrash. Cannibal,
Oh.
Deicide, Morbid.
Yeah.
Right, definitely.
So yeah, I mean it's got to be those heavier thrash bands. Like you brought up Dark Angel. Dark Angel, like when I first jammed them, I was still just mainly into thrash, and that sounded a bit heavier. Like it was a bit different. And
Right.
it was like almost kind of that thrashy blast beat throughout. And it was like, man, this is, I don't know, is this thrash?
Yeah,
Like, it was one of those I wondered when I first heard. That was years ago.
Right.
I heard about this dude, Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
Definitely a legend.
The man, the atomic clock. That dude is still a monster.
Fucking caffeine thrash. Whatever the fuck it's called. Caffeine thrash or fucking caffeine metal.
Yeah, like Cryptic Slaughter. Cryptic Slaughter was always like with that weird thrashy blast beat that was just kind of punky.
That's true
like
too.
A little bit cleaner with Dark Angel.
I feel like another one is Sadist.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no, I mean, shit, dude. Fucking, DiGiorgio. Dude is just insanely good. The dude, his fretless work is so goddamn good. But yeah, I have the early Sadist stuff, and that was definitely a band that was kind of on the cusp. It was definitely those like later thrash bands. They started getting a little bit heavier. Devastation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, Devastation. Yeah.
Morbid Saint. Morbid Saint had an almost death metal. Yeah, dude, that album is so damn good.
Yeah.
And I just recently got hit to that, and everyone's like, "You got to check out this album." And I was like, "All right, I'll finally cave in and get it." Found a reissue of it, and okay, I missed out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
great.
I was just thinking of Rigor Mortis too.
Actually, that first Rigor Mortis and even the Freaks EP, I mean, it has that faster, like more aggressive sound. The vocals are a little bit more raw.
Right.
And that had to be like, bands like that, it definitely had to be like a big thing to, kick off death metal too, because, the whole thing just seemed to be getting more and more extreme.
Yeah.
Faster, more aggressive.
Right.
God, I know there's some other bands I can't think of right now. I almost want to go through my computer and just look at like the death thrash bands because I got a lot.
What about Blood Feast?
Yeah, Blood Feast actually. Yeah, no, that is a damn good one. Yeah, I just recently got hit to them. What did I picked up? I think it's their second album with them all decapitated and holding their heads. Decapitation.
Yeah. Good album.
Dude, that's again like that more aggressive thrash style. Those guys were like very Slayerish though, man. But it was like Slayerish with like, they're kind of like joking around a bit. Like Slayer's like, no, we're serious about Satan. I was like, are you?
Yeah,
I'm serious about drinking. I know you're serious about drinking. That's for damn sure.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, dude. Let's see, what do we got here?
What's some other death thrash I know? Fucking the first Pestilence.
Yeah, Pestilence.
Abomination. That's or Death Strike. Both those with what's his name from Master?
Paul Speckman.
Yeah, Paul Speckman. Abomination and Death Strike were both like later thrash bands that were kind of more on the cusp of death metal.
Cancer.
Dude, Cancer is amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, those first two albums alone. Actually, no, first three. Incredible.
Protector? Shit, I could throw on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Shedding of the Skin.
Shedding.
A Shedding of Skin.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
That album's brilliant. Like
that one afterwards is great fucking too. Heretic.
Trying to think. Like, well, these are all. Well, I mean, you brought up Deceased. Deceased definitely should be in the mix too.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe Autopsy. Well, maybe not so much because Autopsy was it was obviously after death.
And I mean, they definitely started like full tilt boogie on the death metal side. Like, I mean, Severed Survival that's a death metal album. Like, there's a thrashy thing to it, but there's also that punky D beat stuff too.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get to like Mental Funeral, here you go, man. We're into Death Doom territory.
Yeah.
Which they might be one of the pioneers for that style. Like them in Winter.
Oh
yeah.
Winter, yeah.
Okay.
Now those guys are a little bit later. What else we got here? Shut up, cat.
Immolation.
Who was it?
Immolation.
See, I don't know, man. That one it almost starts off straight up as like just death metal, and that was like 91 at that point. I think that was that 91 or 90.
91, but like the demo is like 88, 89.
I mean, I love every Immolation album. They have not written a bad album yet. It's a good running so far.
Bolt,
Right.
obviously.
God, I'm trying to see what other early ones do I have here.
Morgoth.
I like Morgoth, and I mean, I don't want to say that they're copycats, but there were, as soon as Scream Bloody Gore came out and Leprosy, there were some bands that definitely latched on that sound, and Morgoth and Pestilence definitely really were big fans, especially of those early death albums, because I mean they kind of took that thrashy side and the death metal riffs. I mean, Consuming Impulse, that is almost a death album with Martin Van Drunen's gasping vocals on it.
Yeah.
True.
Why the hell is that? Shouldn't be there. That should be grindcore. Actually, here you go. Well, now they're known as a program, but they were called Incubus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Incubus. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Beyond the
I remember
Unknown.
Incubus.
Yeah, Serpent Temptation. Yeah, I would say. I mean, that's definitely like one that should be in the mix there.
I agree. Definitely, such a good album.
Atrocity.
Actually, early
yeah.
Atrocity. God, man, Therian's first album. That's the only one I like. I don't like Therian's like more operatic.
Yeah, same here.
But that first album, and from what I hear, the second album's good too. But here we go. And it's not the Slaughter that everyone else might think. Slaughter, the one that did Strapato.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one from Canada, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one they briefly had Chuck in the band, and then Chuck was like, "Nah, I want to do my thing."
Shoot. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, but that one I would say is got to be in the mix. I mean, hell, it came out pretty much around the same time as Scream Bloody Gore.
Yep.
But I mean, people still count it more as a thrash metal album. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting subject there because, you know, there is that tipping point. You're trying to find where it is. Like, is the tipping point Scream Bloody Gore? Because I mean, honestly, going back and listening to that, it's still, I don't know, it's still kind of thrashy too. But I think maybe the themes being more like, you know, undead and zombies and shit. But you can still make the argument. I was like, well, Slayer was still talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it is interesting. Where's the origin at? Solstice, that came out a little bit later, but
Those are the two.
dude, the Sentencing is an incredible album. That is just a nonstop ass whooper.
Exactly.
Yep. Sacrifice from Canada.
See, I've still been meaning to get some more of that stuff.
Sacrifice is weird, I would say.
Torment and Fire, great album.
Yeah.
But
Trying to think here. I mean, you know, Sarcophago, but that's also like heavily influential to black metal too. And you brought them up before too.
yep.
Again, that's like almost like just, you know, extreme metal in general, because they kind of their fan bases definitely brought up. Some of them took after the thrash side, which honestly, I think their second album is possibly my favorite out of that batch.
Yeah, same.
Right.
Laws of Scourge.
Yep, that's great. I like the fact that they worked in more songwriting dynamics, and they kind of dialed down a little bit of the rawness, but still kept just enough of it intact, just to show you, hey, we can play some different shit, and relentlessly heavy.
Yep. Well, I was thinking too, Sarcophia, or Sarcophago, however you pronounce it.
Sarcophago.
Yeah, Sarcophago. I always mess it up. Sarcophago, yeah.
Sarcophago.
They were like one of the early bands to use blast beat.
Yep.
They were.
Yeah.
And, God, I'm trying to think. Man, I really get like in terms of like that proto stuff. I mean, we definitely covered a lot of like those early bands, but I mean, like, I think like Celtic Frost and Venom are definitely like big catalyst ones, even though they were more like they were kind of catalysts for, again, extreme stuff in general.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, I guess you still have to kind of give it to Possessed, man. I mean, they coined the term, and it was a different kind of thrash. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, even now, like, even after like listening to Revelations of Oblivion, which is probably one of my favorite comeback albums ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I still don't feel as though it's like a full tilt death metal album. I still feel it's like just a really heavy thrash metal album in a lot of spots. But it's great. That's the main thing. And I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can fully call Possessed a death metal band. I think they're still a thrash metal band.
Right.
But Death, I mean, a lot of people say death metal was just named after the fact that, that was the name of Chuck's band. He was Evil Chuck, and they play death metal.
Yeah.
So there's always that debate. I mean, like any metal forum I'm on, there's someone putting up a meme that's like, a death logo above a Possessed logo doing something, or vice versa. It's like, man, this is still a hot subject for how long has it been now?
Oh, jeez, it's been a long time. It's been quite a long time. Yeah.
I know Jeff's been very vocal about it, about like inventing death metal, and I mean he did coin the term. I have to give him some credit.
Right. That's true. I'm sitting here trying to think of other bands too. I think we pretty much mentioned all the bigger or the main bands.
Yeah.
Like for me, I always had three categories. Like to me, Venom invented extreme metal, Bathory invented black metal, and Possessed invented death metal. That's kind of the way I always categorized it.
I thought the same way too.
Now, as far as go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I had like Celtic Frost and Bathory. Actually, Venom. Venom was the one that kind of bridged over, but yeah, Celtic Frost and Bathory, I definitely say were like, the main influences in black metal. I mean, you still hear it to this day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like Venom, I don't know. Venom, I think, really influenced like the thrash kids that wanted to listen to something a little bit darker than Motorhead.
Right.
And Venom is black metal. I mean, Venom is essentially black metal, proto black metal, I guess you can call it that. Yeah. But I don't know, when it came down to like death metal, that one's where it kind of it gets more gray. I mean, Possessed is definitely, I would say, maybe like they're the first death thrash band. I think that's probably the most fair thing you can say. That's not as divisive, but
right.
They were good, and everyone saw what they were doing. I mean, they took the image a bit further too. They weren't just the thrash kids in cut off jeans and holding beer cans and punching stuff, i.e. Paul Bailoff.
Right.
But I mean, there was something definitely different about them, and I mean, I agree with was it Vinny Hyde? It's like the style of thrash or death metal they were playing was definitely way more chaotic. Like it was really unhinged. And I mean, going back and listening to Seven Churches, it's still nasty. That is still a vicious album. And I mean, so is, Beyond the Gates is just a little bit more controlled, but it's still absolutely like dark and foreboding. And I think that's like kind of the thing that they kept, kind of building on. Keep it dark. Let's talk about Satan and zombies and all that fun shit, and keep watching these horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think the EP, The Eyes of Horror, right?
Yep.
I think that's more of a thrash metal album. It's got a bit more of a thrashy sound compared to, compared to Seven Churches and Beyond the Gate.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I agree. I don't have an actual physical copy of the EP on its own, but it came out with the last reissue of Beyond the Gates. So I was like, well, cool. They got Eyes of Horror finally. But it's different. It's a little bit more straightforward. I mean, I guess maybe you can make that argument that well, we're young crazy kids and we got a little bit older, a little bit more mature in the songwriting, and maybe that was just easier to do in terms of working on melody and hooks. Because then, that EP has some really catchy songs. Honestly, Beyond the Gates is, I would say, slightly more accessible. I mean, you put on Seven Churches for, your more casual thrash fan, they're probably going to go, I don't know, man, this is a bit much.
It's never too much.
No, I mean, the extreme shit that I listened to, I mean, dude, this weekend for reviews was a lot of fun. I mean,
oh man,
Corpse.
Yeah.
It's Corpse.
Oh yeah,
I adore Corpse.
That was a great review. I enjoyed it.
That was a lot of fun because we even got to try out a new table on that one, which was nice. But now we have a nice round table, so whenever we do rankings, we can look people straight in the eye across from us. Like, what do you mean that's not higher on your list?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, instead of having go around the table and do what?
It's like it's got to be at least a 9 out of 10.
I mean, I'm still working on ranking Napalm Death.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard one.
I love a lot of the new stuff, which that might drive some old school fans crazy. I mean, but like Time Waits for No Slave. Hey. My God, that album whoops so much ass. The newest one, dude, Throes of Joy and the Jaws of Defeatism. I don't know how the hell they got heavier at 50, but they did.
Yeah, they just keep getting more brutal.
I mean,
that's what a lot of bands are doing, though. It's like these bands are just getting more brutal, which is good.
I mean, hell, Danny Herrera is doing super creative stuff on drums, too, here. Like, you figure he'd be slowing down, too, because, I mean, the dude plays sets of just nonstop blast beats. He looks like he's going to get tired eventually, but now I was like, nah, fuck it.
I will admit their best shit is Harmony Corruption.
Yeah, I like that album. I still can't believe there are people that absolutely hate that album. I was like, dude, I don't get it. I mean, all right, I can get it either. I can say maybe that's one of Scott Burns' weakest mixes. Maybe it's a little muddy, but I mean, if you compare that to the debut that Benediction put out with Barney on it, it's very similar.
Yeah,
true. And they kind of adapted to the death metal sound, which there's no problem there. But people calling them a bunch of sellouts, no. Exactly. How do you sell out? It's like, wait, oh, you were a grime band and you sold out for that really poppy death metal shit. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
You shifted extremes. You're still good.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, Utopia Banished, though, they pretty much blended the two, and it's like, bam, there you go. You get your grind, you get your death metal riffs. You're welcome.
Pretty much. Yep.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what they've been doing, too. Like a mixture of death and grind.
There's even, I think now, for whatever reason, they've become a lot more experimental, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
really.
Defecation. that is one hell of a group, dude. Well, all right, that first album. The second album was meh. And actually, I have an album that has Defecation. You know, it says the Disincarnate. Dude, Disincarnate was absolutely amazing. James Murphy.
I love that Graham fan.
Oh,
Shit.
dude,
Great.
like Disincarnate. That album is one of the best like one-off death metal albums ever.
Funny enough, they were playing a show. I found this on YouTube. They were playing a show. It was like September of '92. It was supposed to be for the metal awards for Tampa, and people were literally booing them.
Fuck those people.
Exactly right.
That ain't right, dude. I picked that up because I got it was that guy was back in those early days at Roadrunner where they were throwing out samplers for all their fun death metal, and it was at Death's Door 2. First time I ever heard Immolation was on there, and was it a Disincarnate Stench of Paradise Burning? I think it was the opening track.
That's a good song.
Yeah, that was on there, and I jammed it. I was like, dude, what? This is really good, because it had all the cool, like, flashy guitar bits with, like, some melody, but it was still, like, just as brutal as something like Suffocation, which I adore Suffocation. It's one of my favorite death metal bands.
I actually was arguing with one of my friends earlier today about what would be like proto brutal death metal outside of like Suffocation.
Baphomet? Broken Hope?
Nah.
I don't know, man. Swamped in Gore, I mean, that has a lot of the old brutal death tropes in it.
I would say like fucking Morpheus Descends or fucking Pyrexia.
Pyrexia, yeah, that was one I was going to bring up. Baphomet usually, I think, should be always in there too. I mean, the one album, God, The Dead Shall Inherit, I think.
Yeah, that's an album.
I mean, it's got a lot of those brutal death metal tropes, but I mean, in terms of like the biggest one, it's the breakdown on Liege of Inveracity.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, dude, every slam band just heard that moment and was like, let's build a genre around that moment. Like, you sure you don't want to build around the rest of the song? No, that one. Because, I mean, Frank gets ridiculously low. that just chunky tone. Ugh.
Exactly.
I agree. Way too repetitive.
Yeah, I think, you know, Dying Fetus definitely were influenced by that moment right there. And, I mean, I love Dying Fetus, though. Like, they always have a riff. They always have riffs for you.
There's a few other ones I would throw in there, too. What
about Rotting Corpse?
Oh, Ripping Corpse or Rotting Corpse?
Or Ripping Corpse.
Ripping Corpse? I don't know. Was it Brutal Death?
It was Death Thrash, but I had hints of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy album. I mean, it definitely even shows off, like, you know, Rutan was good, like, real early on. Actually, when we did the Corpse review, there were people saying, like, yes, you do a retro review for Ripping Corpse. Like, dude, it's been on my list forever.
I did one on my YouTube stuff recently.
I've always loved that album. We did, actually, the first retro review we did was Disincarnate, because I just kind of pitched the idea to Jam and John. I was like, you know, this can open up another avenue. Plus, there's so many one-off albums out there, you know, or ones that have like 2 albums. We can't rank 2 albums. It's kind of pointless.
It's like it's like fucking Baphomet / Banished. It's the same fucking band.
I'm trying to think what other ones. I mean, I know for Death Doom, in terms of like the early one to pioneer that, I usually, you know, Paradise Lost has got to be in there, My Dying Bride, but I think Winter's, I think that's their lone album.
I would throw Viagression in that category too.
I don't know if I know that one.
They're from I think either Illinois or Wisconsin.
Let's see.
They have an album that looks like some dude on steroids ripping off someone's arms, I think.
Daylight Dies.
It was in 91, I think, or 92.
or Delirium with their album Zua. It's literally spelled with what? 2 Z's, 2 O's, 1 U, 2 H's. Yeah, that's definitely like an early Death Doom one I can think of.
Accidental Suicide, that's a good Death Doom band.
Disembodiment.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, Disembodiment.
That album's creepier than hell. It's kind of a disturbing listen.
Right.
Even early Incantation I would throw on that list too.
Incantation?
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I think that came on a little bit later because I mean, Onward Circle Gotha that's actually a pretty up tempo album for them. But the more they started working in those Death Doom breaks, like it really kind of just gave it a much different feel.
Right.
I would say
definitely.
There's another one, Rotter I would throw on that list too.
I still need to get some Rotivore.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of closer to Funeral Doom, but esoteric. Esoteric's earlier stuff was kind of on that Death Doom cusp. God, what else?
What about early? I'm thinking here. Early Sentenced.
Dude.
Before they got into the
first album was so good.
Oh my god, yeah. North from Here.
Like?
Unibur 2.
Yep.
Children of Scorn.
Doing good, man. God, I'm trying to think what other early ones, man. Like, dude, I mean, the first Amorphous album, Curly and Isthmus, well, the first full length. But yeah, that has a lot of that Death Doom sound. But that's Finnish death metal. Finnish death metal loves that shit, and that's why I love Finnish death metal so damn much.
Demilich.
Right. It's a great album. Oh yeah, Demilich.
Demilich is almost its own thing. I love it for it. Like those frog vocals, those weird riffs. Those riffs are just nuts sounding.
I have those riffs on that record.
I hunted down a copy of I forget which company did the reissue, but yeah, that album is just. I remember playing it for Jam and John. And it was like, dude, I don't know if I can make sense of this. Like, I don't think you're supposed to.
Man, I got to revisit a lot of these albums. Some of these I haven't heard in years.
But yeah, it's always interesting trying to find out who the hell was first or have that debate. I mean, that's I don't know. Like, someone had to be the catalyst for one particular aspect. I mean, you can almost do it with, any one of these genres too. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, God, I want to say, I talked to someone that said Suffocation might have been the first deathcore band. I was not cool with that, but
I was not cool with that either.
I've heard that too.
But yeah, it's like, no, man, their breakdowns, they're kind of that hardcore belting. Is like, stop it, dude. Don't do that to me.
Never fucking say that ever. That's a fucking abomination.
What you've done, sir, is a hate crime, and I'm against it.
That's the biggest abomination I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
I mean, people got hot takes out there.
Dude, that's like calling fucking bands like Super Rot fucking metalcore. Like, if you call Cerebral Rot metalcore, I would probably have a problem with you.
I agree.
Here's the funny thing. I was on fucking Metal Archives earlier. Not Metal Archives, like some list website. I forgot what it's called. And they were rating Gripping Corpse. And they put Deathcore, Death Rash, and fucking Slam. I'm like, whoever wrote this, I'm going to find their fucking house.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, really.
You're kind of reaching there.
Oh my god.
Actually, yeah, that low growl granted it's like distorted, on Hell Awaits, the song. I mean, that might have been one of the early gutturals right there. I mean, well, whenever Chuck Billy did the fucking super low vocals, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, dude, Jeff, what is that? Not Jeff, fucking Bill Steer's low vocals are still, I mean, they're slowed down in the studio just to make them more burpy, but I mean, he's still able to deliver like a real nasty low growl.
The first real growl I've heard of was fucking was either Carcass or Napalm.
I mean, it was probably Camel Corpse for me because, again, saw Ace Ventura in theaters, and lo and behold, this fucking death metal band's playing, and you know, Barnes is just grunting hostility at everyone. I was like, dude, what is this? I like it.
I know I'll be crucified for saying this, but I did not like Jim Carrey at all.
Oh, that movie was hilarious. I laughed my ass off. I mean, I can still go back and watch that one. Second one, it gets a little bit too cheesy. And the lack of Cannibal Corpse was disappointing.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah, I don't remember the second movie very much.
Yeah, well, the rhino. The rhino scene's about it. I mean, that is still hilarious. But like the rest of the movie, it was like, I mean, it's okay.
It's okay. I could kind of take it or leave it, to be honest.
But the rhino scene, I will tear up laughing almost anytime I see that because it's still hilarious.
I honestly don't think I've watched that since the 90s. Ace Ventura 2. It's been years.
It's been on, and I've watched it again, and I was like, yeah, why not? But I mean, like, I vividly remember the impact that Cannibal Corpse scene had.
Right. Oh, what's up, Death-like Reviews? We got DC in the house. What's up, everybody? Yep. Just talking about death metal.
I mean, I was about to jam some more. New Inoculation. Maggot Stump.
Oh, nice.
They're getting a lot of my money here lately.
So, that's a fairly new band?
Yep, this will be their second full length. I also have one of their EPs. I pretty much just keep going back to Maggot Stomp's Bandcamp just because they seem like they're like signing a lot of cool bands, releasing demos and shit, and that's where I discovered Sanguisugabog, which is
so it's called Maggot Stomp.
Maggot Stomp Records.
I'm gonna look it up quick.
Oh yeah,
so I forget it.
Tons of good stuff, man. If they still have it. I mean, if you like kind of doomy death metal, Malignant Altar.
Right. Maggot Stomp. Oh, here it is. All right, cool.
Yeah, tons of cool stuff in there. And like I said, lots of demos.
Check that out. Nice.
So if you're looking for something that's definitely more like raw, that place definitely has it. I spent way too much money on there.
It's definitely up my alley.
I
think Bandcamp's the perfect place to go anymore for music, to be honest.
I've been hitting up distros a lot. I just got some stuff not too long ago from Hell's Headbangers, which they have a ton of cool stuff there. And, that was getting some of the early death metal that I was missing out on. And, got reissue of Loud Blast. And
nice.
That album is absolutely amazing. But yeah, like some newer stuff that I missed. And they cover like pretty much almost every genre of metal on there. So you find death metal, thrash metal, black metal, some classic heavy metal. And, they have stuff from like really cool small labels. And then I just hit up Nuclear Winter Records, which they had a ton of stuff too. And they got more of my money.
Got to check that one out.
Yeah, I think that one's based out of California. Hell's Headbangers is based out of my state in Ohio. And they have, again, just tons of stuff. Their t-shirts. There's too many good t-shirts there too.
Oh,
I
definitely.
I heard a whole bunch.
Well, shit. So you're not too far from me then, if you're in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I'm here in Toledo, Ohio, the stinky T below the dirty D. We are the taint.
Hershey, Pennsylvania, the home of chocolate.
There you go. It's better than what we're known for, which is nothing. Cornfields. Cornfields, that's Ohio. Cornfields and Rust Belt cities.
That sounds about right. I remember driving through there years ago, and all I saw, I swear, was just miles of cornfields. It's
There's,
like, oh man, when's it gonna end?
dude, there's there's always like memes up and like driving through Ohio. Corn. Hell is real. Grandpa's cheese barn. Corn.
It's like Nebraska.
Yeah, just looking at the comments here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, DC's a band scout. That's cool.
Yep.
Ben's.
So you're in New Jersey at the moment too. Huh. Cool.
I'm from New Jersey. Unfortunately.
I mean, Ohio's not much better. You got beaches. We got a lake that no one should fucking swim in. Yeah. Well, I mean, then again, I mean, Jersey's got issues with pollution too, I'm sure.
Oh my God! Yes, that's so true.
It's bad.
Yeah. It's like, where do we put this nuclear waste? Like, I don't fucking know. Put it right there.
Fucking a lake full of broken syringes.
Fun, man. I mean, you know, being in close proximity to Detroit, like we're less than an hour. And yeah, you know, everyone's like, "Oh man, this is like little Detroit." It's like, kinda. I feel more comfortable walking around Toledo than I do in Detroit. But I mean, most places I go in Detroit, I am hanging out outside of a venue with a bunch of fucking metalheads. You know, when shows existed. But you know, they're gonna come back. I got both my shots down. I am fully inoculated now. I am ready. I'm ready for socializing and being, you know, like, well, I mean, I'm still going to be doing a ton of videos and shit because I love this, but I want to go out and do shows and bullshit with my friends more often.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we definitely need shows back. Big time. Oh man, we're hurting without shows.
Yeah. I think before this broke, like 2019, I think I hit like 17 shows. And
wow.
Well, Maryland Death Fest, I mean, I guess we're counting that as one show. I saw 27 bands in 4 days.
Oh, I always wanted to go there.
I want to go there too.
Dude, MDF that was a blast, man. Just seeing bands I didn't think I would actually get a chance to see, like Benediction, Deicide, finally got them off my list, and they whooped ass. Brutality, because they just broke up again.
Oh man,
they're gonna come back.
They'll be back. I mean, they keep. I mean, but still, it was like, man, you guys were like talking about, we're thinking about working on a new album. It's like, are you? Or are you just thinking about breaking up again? Because you guys are really good at breaking up. Oh God, who else was there? I mean, because he
We were talking about pre-rule death metal. I thought of one that just came to my mind. Killing Addiction. Omega Factor. It came out in '93, I think, or '92.
I don't know if I know that one. No, I don't. Wow, I don't know that one.
Interesting.
I think it's off JL America or some shit.
I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. I love that sound, that sort of like early death metal, like sort of transitional period. Like, all right, now where are we moving from here? Like, we were more of a thrash band, kind of moving into this death metal territory. Like, honestly, in terms of a new release that kind of gave me that feeling was the new Nervosa, they pretty much just embraced death metal, but it still had that balance. It was that pure death thrash, and it had like all that 90s, late 80s sound to it. And it was like, dude, that's a style that's kind of missing. You don't hear many bands do that.
That's very true, yeah.
Often. I just hear fucking more Demolich worship than anything.
Demolich, Incantation.
Yep.
Incantation worship everywhere.
Heimdall.
God, who else? I mean, there's definitely like key bands for a lot of this, new wave stuff. And like anything Finnish. If it's Finnish death metal, like Demolich, Sentence first album, there are tons of bands that sound like it. Autopsy worship everywhere.
More chicken.
Shoot. I mean, Morbid Angel.
Mortician.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I remember, like, I went on the internet and put in Mortician. They put like I looked at a blog. It was like worst bands ever, and people kept mentioning Mortician. And keep in mind, this is like 2003. Now everybody's like worshiping them now.
Honestly, dude, I mean, to see them live, just watch them live. Now, granted, the show is going to be 2/3 music, 1/3 horror movie samples, and a smoke machine that's working overtime. But, dude, they kill live. They absolutely kill. It's amazing. And I mean, those worst bands lists. I saw like Primus on there, and it was like, no, I don't believe that for a second. I love Primus, and Primus just like, well, fuck it, we're gonna embrace it. Yeah, we actually like the chant at every Primus show is Primus sucks, and I was like, yes, tell us more. I mean, hell, Hypo Negative, I think, made it on one of those lists too, and Pete Seal was like, yeah, just tell us we suck. We ain't leaving. We already got your money.
Pretty much. Right. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Still giving us money. So,
yeah, you paid your way in. I mean, they made that joke on Origin of Feces. I mean.
Oh, man, it's such a classic.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, man.
Yeah, that's boom. One band. I got your money. Who's the asshole now?
Exactly.
That's one band I definitely miss is Typo Negative.
I got to see them twice, and they absolutely killed it. Those glum fuckers. Yeah. I got to see them on. I think it was a Roadrunner Road Rage tour where they were touring on World Coming Down, which that's my go-to. Wow. That album is a giant bummer, but I love it.
That's a great album.
I
saw them back.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw them back in 2008 in Maryland, or Baltimore, Maryland, actually, at Rex Theater, and I got to meet Peter still, which was really cool.
I never got a chance to meet him. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Got to shake his hand. It's really cool. A couple years before he passed.
He always seemed like super, like, down to earth, and like the self-deprecation. I don't know, like something about that. That was what I always liked about him. Like he made fun of the whole, being a rock star thing.
Right.
I don't know, he was just cool.
Yep.
Really wish he was still around, just doing his thing. Because I mean, he was, I don't know, he was just kind of a different kind of front man.
He was. Yep.
Croon his ass off, and then as soon as he starts talking and get that thick New York accent, hey, fuck you.
Hey, fuck you, man.
Yeah, what do you mean we suck? Fuck you. I mean, you get into the carnivore stuff. The carnivore stuff is fucking wonderful. Man. Retaliation is one of the best crossover albums ever.
Oh man, brilliant album. Love Carnivore.
I don't know if you can get away with some of the humor they did now. I mean, Jesus Hitler is.
Oh man!
But I mean, it was all done in like this cynical thing. Like he was never serious about it. It was like, dude, this sounds like a fucking weird thing to talk about, and I'm going to write a whole story like he's a comic book character. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh Ground Zero Brooklyn, stupid fucking song.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely missed.
He's definitely missed. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Give me a second. I'm gonna bounce out and go grab a smoke.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So take a look at the chat here quick. DC. Oh yeah, he has his own label.
What do you say?
Actually, DC is Gail from Shadows of Death Records.
Really?
Yep.
Oh
I
shit.
think he's starting a new label now, though. He doesn't. I'm trying to think. I think he told me Shadows of Death Records is no more, but he's putting a new label together. I don't know if he's. No, he said he'll be back, or he said
Dude.
he'll be right back.
Dude.
Because I can't remember what his new label is called off the top of my head.
Really?
But yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Work out any new rips lately?
Oh yeah, the new album's coming out really fucking good.
Can't wait to hear it.
It's fucking
Definitely
good.
looking
Super
forward
killer.
to it. Hell yeah.
Gonna be better than the last one, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
We still don't have a label to put it out yet, but we're trying to find one.
Right on. I mean, if I knew how to do it, I'd start my own label.
Yeah, we're gonna have we're obviously having new tracks for it, and we're gonna get someone to help out on the album cover. So yeah,
Interesting. Should be cool, man.
we're gonna be we're trying to put some money together to get Dan Xavier to do the artwork for us, which is
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not cheap, man.
that shit's not gonna be cheap. We said like, okay, we had an idea so we could get him to do the artwork. Then find a way to email him. We'll try to pay. We'll see how much he offers us. Not gonna ask him for a lot of money, but still, it would work.
Right. Oh yeah, man. Being in a band, it definitely takes money. It's like you're making the money and you're putting the money back into it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're true to the music, it's not about the money. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you definitely want an income, obviously. You know what I mean. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yep. It's like fuck. I could care less if I ever became rich off of playing music. I mean, it'd be cool to, get to a point where, you can make a living doing it. But it's fucking hard. It's hard nowadays.
It is hard.
But yeah. I know mine should be finished on. I know mine's slated for release on June 4th. My debut for Holocaust. I mean, I'm going to release it digital at first. I eventually want to get CD copies made for it.
Yeah, I know a place I could help you out with that.
Cool. You'll have to definitely tell me.
Yeah, I know a guy that could help us out with that.
Nice. Yeah, definitely want to get some CDs pressed.
We know a few other guys that could help out.
Yep.
I know.
Already got ideas for the next record or album, whatever you want to call it, release. It's going to be much heavier.
Yeah, for sure. For next record,
There's only, there's only one. There's only one direction to go. More brutal.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't want to commit a fucking 6 feet under. I really don't.
Man. Me either. I just don't get that one.
I mean,
How you could give a pass on Chris Barnes' vocals for that last freaking album?
everybody's like, yeah, he's Chris Barnes. Let's give him a pass. I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Seems like a not smart idea. But okay, if not mine.
Welcome back, DC. Oh yeah, what's your record label called again?
Yeah,
I know you told me. I kind of forgot. Or your new label, I should say.
by the way, if you ever want to contact my band, if you're looking for bands on your label, I have a business card, so you guys need to take a screenshot of it.
Shadow of Death Records and War Crimes. Oh, cool. Okay. So it's the War Crimes name? Yep. I thought you weren't using Shadows of Death Records or I thought you weren't using the Shadow of Death Records name anymore. Oh no, it's been a long freaking record. Okay, War Crimes Records. Okay, that's it. Yeah, War Crimes Record. All right.
All right. By the way,
Just wait for everybody to get back here.
so
Oh, okay, so you're still, but okay. Sadistic Oppressor.
you guys need to contact me. This is the
If you can make that out there.
so you guys can see whatever the stuff is.
Cool.
Nice business card.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool business card.
Got a custom made for like $60.
So War Crimes Records. Okay, cool. I like his music. Good friend of ours, Mike. He has a black metal side project called Ordo Abkeo, I think it's called.
I like the Mayhem album.
Yeah. That's what his black metal project's called. Yeah, he does some pretty decent music. He's got a Bandcamp page too.
God, Bandcamp is dangerous. I can't.
I'll tell you what.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm literally starting to get hooked on Bandcamp now. Like before, I'd kind of just pass it up, and I'm like,
Mike Browning. Oh, he's talking about Mike Browning, dude. That dude,
I'm sorry.
Dude, Nocturnus's debut. I mean,
My apologies.
that could be like one of the most important, like, technical death metal albums ever.
That's true. Yeah.
Shit, man, they got away with keyboards, and it still sounded cool as hell. And I mean, he kind of got. I don't know, like the full story in Nocturnus, but I think he kind of got maybe a bit of a raw deal there, but now Nocturnus AD is around and they're playing an MDF too, and I'll get a chance to hear stuff from the Key on there because that album is fucking brilliant.
Heck yeah.
Actually, I think I got a signature, like a signed picture from Mike Browning in one of the Metalhead boxes recently, and I think I brought up Nocturnus, the Key, as an underrated album because it is super underrated. Like that is, a very different album to come out of that whole Florida scene. Didn't sound like anything else that was coming out, and again, they were doing just super, like, I don't know, sci-fi centric stuff, which that really wasn't a big theme. I mean, it was mostly like death, Satan. I was like, hey, that's cool. But sci-fi, I don't know, I love sci-fi stuff, and it was kind of a unused little thing there for a while. And again, he got away with putting keyboards in brutal music, and it didn't make it sound cheesy. That's pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, I agree. Well,
we'll tell you what, unfortunately, I got to dip out here because I got some other stuff I got to write notes on. But yeah, it was a pleasure just coming in and chatting, bullshitting, man.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Enjoyed it, definitely. Always good to have you around.
Yeah, so you guys take it easy. Keep talking about death metal and shit because it rules.
Damn right. All metal rules.
I mean, yeah, I'm obviously pretty damn hooked.
But yeah, definitely death metal too.
All right, you guys take her easy, man.
All right, man. You too. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, not a problem, man. Peace.
Yep. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream also. We've gone a little over an hour.
Yeah.
Don't have too much more to say. But this was definitely a cool stream, talking about death metal, talking about the origins of death metal, talking about all these different bands. So we'll definitely be back to do this again. Thanks to everybody for joining the chat. Thanks to Xavier from Sadistic, Oppressor for joining the chat.
If you guys need
also,
to I can contact me out. I have it right here. So.
Hell yeah. Working on his second album already. And we will definitely be back to talk about that once it's complete.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be really fucking good. It's going to be called Omen of Atrocity.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, read the comments here. Oh yeah, I remember the band Tyrant. Great traditional heavy metal band. Power metal band from back in the 80s. Hell yeah. All right, well, thanks again to everybody for joining the stream. Keep it metal. All right, peace out.